Alright. YouTube, I'm new to y'all. I usually am on TikTok. My name is Nara, and I'm trying to figure out why the fuck we at war. So, I wanted to see if any of you guys here knew what the fuck is going on. And are y'all happy with the current president that we have in the United States of America? Because I think he fucked up. He might not even remember we at war tomorrow. They might have to remind his ass we're at war tomorrow. That's the scariest part about what the fuck is going on right now. Do Joe Biden know that he talked that shit? Does he realize that the whole time he was talking shit, Putin didn't give a fuck? Putin don't give a hoot nanny about none of this shit Joe Biden said. He talking about sanctions, and the only people that got sanctioned was us. Have y'all seen gas prices? I'm just asking. Have you seen the gas prices? We got sanctioned. That's who got sanctioned. We did as Americans. I'm sorry. Some of y'all might not like what I'm saying, but y'all probably the ones that voted for him. What the hell is wrong with us? We fucked up. We got Biden as a president. That nigga Sleepy Joe. Let's go, Brandon. We fucked up. Now, what are you going to do? The Russians said if anybody comes into Russia, they're going into the Ukraine. And if anybody comes into Russia, they fucking some shit up. Exactly. He don't remember anything. I'm serious. He going listen. Russia said if anybody comes into Russia, they are getting fucked up. No, I, what do you say? No cookies, no bonies. What, by no cookies, no bonies? There's some. What the fuck? Y'all, what are we going to do? What will we do? Half of our men, if it's a draft? What if they come over here? I'm asking all these questions because this is stuff I want to know. Like, what would you do? Are you prepared? Then they said it could be cyber attacks. What if you go to the bank and you can't use your bank card tomorrow? Everything they trying to make everything in over here electric. What if the electric get messed with? Then they said prepare because they could start putting sodium in the water. And it's all types of stuff. Are y'all listening to this? Are we all getting the same news? I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm just trying to say, do you have a set of chopsticks? Cause Putin fuck with the boy from China. I don't know who his name is, but this might be the new way of life. You might have to say fuck a fork and get you some chopsticks. I'm over here practicing now because it's only 325 million Americans, but it's a billion Chinese folks. So, big, you said the what now? Because this is about to be the new. Yeah, hold it at the back. Oh, my bad. I don't know if I'm going to survive this shit. You don't survive anything. You got nothing. Y'all, I'm just saying, do you got chopsticks at home? Because the fork is about to be a thing of the past. What are we going to do if, first of all, gas is so expensive? Did anybody out there notice how much gas is costing right now? Gas is costing so much money. Child, Putin ain't playing. And then they said Putin is supplying us with energy. What? What? What is NATO? Is NATO really NWO, but they spell it NATO so we could be Because Putin said he don't want no smoke. He don't want no New World Order countries all around him. Hey, April.
I would say 4 hours, 389.
April says she don't know how to use chopsticks. Well, tomorrow, Juan Connor gonna have to do a class because
But the tutorial.
tutorial.
Tutorial. The tutorial.
We gonna have to get some chopsticks because America about to get taken over, honey. Look, get you some chopsticks and start learning the customs. And you know they think all black women like Chinese food. I mean seafood. So I gotta start eating some shrimps. I don't know what to say. I'm scared. I ain't scared, but I don't got enough guns to fight off a whole army. So what we gonna do? Juan kinda gotta learn how to throw knives and stuff. He gonna get tired. I don't know how to kill nobody. As soon as I see blood, I know that I can teach you how to fix your blood. But if that shit squirt at me, I'm gonna pass out. So I ain't about no good in the wartime. Yeah, but I'm gonna have to eat seafood because Asian people believe that all black women eat seafood because every time I encounter them, that's what they tell me. Like I got seafood in the back. It's seafood. You want seafood? So they always do that to me. Shellfish, yeah, I'm allergic to shellfish, but I don't even like one fish stick is too much for me. It just tastes too fishy. So I got a question. What will you do if, yeah, what will you do if there's a draft? What will you do if Putin blows off a part of California or something? Is this a joke to some people, or is this serious to y'all, or how are y'all taking this? Because people don't want to hear this, and America is trying to spin this like, hold on, we about to see. Fox News is on right now. Many of them are trying to go to the west. That's where lots of embassies moved their diplomatic staff. Zelensky said, please do not do that. Do not go. Do not leave where you are. Stay home, stay put, stay calm, and just try to avoid any unnecessary movements and listen to the official sources and to his hourly addresses now. Sasha Bakalina reporting for us live. Our correspondent Galina Polonskaya joins me now from Rostov-on-Don, a southern Russian city on the banks of the Sea of Azov. Galina, Vladimir Putin has described this as a special military operation which will only target military facilities. What's the latest? Well, the Russian Defense Ministry this morning indeed stated that the military infrastructure of Ukraine is being disabled by high-precision means, and recently they reported that Ukrainian air defense systems were suppressed, and all the state media here reported that. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to set y'all up. They are not targeting civilians. Also talks, the airports here in the south, in 12 southern cities, are closed until the 2nd of March. This is the decision of the Russian Aviation Agency, and there are reports that many planes are cancelled in Moscow airports. Galina, there have been reports that Belarusian forces have also been involved in this operation against Ukraine. Is there any word from Belarusian officials so far? Yes, actually, Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko was shown on TV. He was talking with officials and with the defense minister of Belarus, and he said actually that the military leadership in Ukraine was warned by Belarus about a possible Russian special operation, and that they, according to Lukashenko, were supposed to make some phone call, but they didn't. He was very expressive when he was talking about that, and he underlined that Belarus does not take part in any military actions.
Galina, we've seen your reports this week. You've been speaking to dozens of people who've been evacuated, who've left some of those breakaway republics. What's the situation on the ground now? How are people feeling?
Well, folks, right now I'm in Rostov-on-Don. It's not far from the border with the separatist regions where the military special operation announced by Vladimir Putin is going on right now. But as you see, life is going on here as usual. And I've been talking with people on the streets today, and literally everyone, and I've spoken with many people, supports the idea of the Russian authorities, supports what they are doing, and say that they trust Vladimir Putin. They say that it's the only way for Russia to defend itself from NATO. So actually they are repeating all the things that we've heard from the officials in the recent months, let's say, and I did not find any single person who would say something which would be different.
The European Union's top diplomats are preparing for an emergency summit in Brussels. This comes as Russian President Vladimir Putin deployed troops into the separatist regions.
They over there giving each other fist bumps, y'all.
Members of the Russian Duma voted to
No, the motherfuckers in NATO.
In a bid to prevent an all-out invasion, the bloc has announced a barrage of sanctions. The European Council President voiced his support for the penalties, tweeting Europe is united in its impactful response to Russia's illegal actions. On Tuesday, the EU's foreign ministers unanimously agreed to the first draft. While Putin's name is not on the blacklist, members of the parliament...
Y'all, if y'all don't think this is a distraction from what they did to us for COVID, I'm trying to tell y'all, all of a sudden we in war. We ain't even get out of pandemic and we in the middle of war.
While Europe is yet to finalise the details of these sanctions, Russia's government will have limited access to EU banks, capital, financial service markets and trade. As Moscow continues to amass troops in the Ukrainian border, the bloc wants to prevent the Kremlin from raising additional funds that could be used to bankroll their military campaign.
There's a feeling of devastation in the European Union quarter of Brussels today that the diplomatic efforts to speak to the Russian government seem to have failed. EU ambassadors are meeting as we speak to discuss their response, as well as NATO ambassadors at the NATO headquarters here in Brussels. Ursula von der Leyen, the European Commission President, and Joseph Borrell, EU Foreign Affairs Chief, have already given a joint statement to the press this morning condemning the recent developments and calling on Vladimir Putin to pull out of Ukraine. Ursula von der Leyen, for her part, said that she condemned this barbaric attack and the cynical arguments to justify it, and that with them, President Putin was trying to turn back the clock here in Europe. And this was not just an attack on Ukraine, but also on European values and the stability of the whole international peace order. Speaking alongside her was Joseph Borrell, the EU Foreign Affairs Chief, giving his strongest statement yet regarding Russian aggression, saying that this was a matter of life or death. And today was a dark day for Europe, one of the most darkest hours since World War II, that a major nuclear power was attacking a neighbour country, Ukraine. Both leaders offered their full support and solidarity to Ukraine, and said that the EU today would be preparing a harsh set of sanctions to be discussed as well tonight.
You mean to tell me nobody wants any smoke from Putin? Because Putin said if y'all fuck with him, he gonna fuck y'all up. He got nuclear power. That's why they only acting like they gonna sanction him. Because he said, I will blow y'all shit the fuck up.
Independence Square in Kiev after President Vladimir Putin of Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine by land, air and sea today.
Damn!
This is the biggest attack by one state after another in Europe since World War II. Russian missiles have
Where is the smoke and the fire, though? That's what I want to know.
Columns of troops pouring across the borders. The Russian president warned other countries that any attempt to interfere would lead to consequences you have never seen. Big explosions were heard before dawn in Kyiv.
I ain't trying to hear her. I want to see where the fuck they hit.
Cities, and the people in Kyiv have been told to find refuge in the nearest bunker. Dozens of people have been seen by our correspondent, Sasha Vakulina, already seeking refuge in Kyiv metro stations, packed with suitcases and personal belongings, while firefighters tackle a fire after bombings in the eastern Ukrainian town of Choguiv. Putin justified the assault on Ukraine in a televised address, arguing it needed to protect civilians in eastern Ukraine, a false claim the US had predicted he would have made as a pretext for an invasion.
Well, how the fuck did they know that they
At
was
least
going to say
7
something like
people
that?
have been known to have died in bombings by Russian forces this morning, according to Ukrainian police. Officials say an attack on a military unit outside Odessa killed 6 people and wounded 7. 19 people are also missing. One person is reported to have died in the city of Mariupol, according to Ukrainian authorities. Zelensky has announced Ukraine is cutting diplomatic ties with Russia and that they are going to defend their freedoms, whatever they may think, in Moscow. The Ukrainian leader has offered weapons to anyone who wants them. The president also said Ukrainians are strong and ready for everything. Kiev introduced martial law across the country following the start of a military operation by Russia. EU heads of state are expected to meet in person in Brussels later today. European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen has announced European leaders will be presented with a package of massive and targeted sanctions for their approval. While the US President said he will be meeting with G7 leaders today, and the US and allies will be imposing severe sanctions on Russia. US President Joe Biden also said his prayers were with the people of Ukraine as they suffer an unprovoked and unjustified attack by Russian military forces. French President Emmanuel Macron has said he firmly condemned Russia's decision to go to war in Ukraine and demanded an immediate end to military operations. Macron said France stood by Ukrainians and would work with its partners and allies to stop the war. The French president spoke to his Ukrainian counterpart. The Lithuanian president is to ask NATO for security consultations. Italy's Prime Minister Mario Draghi
And this is why we are in this shit. Because America is a part of NATO.
And unjustifiable. While the Greek Prime Minister has called an urgent meeting of the nation's Foreign and Defence Council to discuss the invasion and how best to protect ethnic Greeks living in Ukraine. Spain and Portugal have also condemned Russia's attack on Ukraine. Portugal's Prime Minister Antonio Costa has said he fundamentally condemned Russia's attack on Ukraine and added, "My thoughts are with the Ukrainian people in the face of this unjustified and lamentable attack." UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson said he will address the nation this afternoon about the Russian military assault on Ukraine and the UK's response in the House of Commons this afternoon. The Conservative leader tweeted, "The Russian invasion of Ukraine is a catastrophe for our continent," while the UK has vowed unprecedented sanctions to punish Russia's appalling decision. Russian forces fired missiles at several Ukrainian cities and landed troops on its south coast this morning, officials and media said, after President Vladimir Putin authorized what he called a special military operation in the east. The Russian Defense Ministry reported that it used high-precision weapons in the operation it has launched in eastern Ukraine, which are directed against military infrastructure and do not threaten civilians.
Y'all, Putin has nuclear bombs. That's all I want to say. Putin got nuclear bombs.
Welcome to our special program, continuous coverage of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Several cities, including the capital Kyiv, have reported explosions and thousands of people are now seeking safety in shelter. The European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen promises a swift and severe response.
We will not allow President Putin to replace the rule of law by the rule of force and ruthlessness.
Russian forces have unleashed an attack on Ukraine on the orders of Vladimir Putin, who announced a special military operation on Thursday morning. The Russian president ordered his military forces to protect Russian people in the Donbas region and demanded Ukrainian forces lay down their arms. Explosions have already been heard in major Ukrainian cities, including the capital Kyiv. US, please. In a bid to justify the attack, Putin claimed a hostile anti-Russia is being created on historic lands.
I don't even know what to do for you, baby.
Let's hear from our correspondent in the Ukrainian capital, Sasha Vakalina. Sasha, tell us how much of a surprise was this attack in the early hours of this morning?
Yesterday afternoon, rumors started circulating that the attack and the invasion would happen at 4 o'clock in the morning today. And many Ukrainians did not go to sleep. Many journalists stayed awake to see that happening. And those who did go to sleep, those Ukrainians, they woke up with the phone calls from their relatives, from their friends. Those who heard those loud explosions all over the country next to the big cities and smaller towns. This was such a hard morning here in Kyiv, Talks, and we heard the sirens going off here in the central Kyiv by 7 o'clock in the morning. And of course, no matter how resilient and how strong people try to be, this is of course the moment when they do start to panic. Somewhere after 7 in the morning, there were also loud announcements for people to go and seek shelter. Now, for many, the closest shelter would be the metro station, and I went to the metro station myself and I saw people there, and I have to say, it does look surreal seeing people there packed with their bags, with their suitcases. They're just sitting on the stairs. They're not going anywhere with the metro. The metro is open, it's for free. They're allowing everybody in to seek shelter. And people just staying there, sitting, glued to their phones, trying to call their families, their relatives, and trying to get the updates on what is happening and what is going to happen in the country.
Sasha, we've also heard from President Volodymyr Zelensky this morning. Tell us more about what he's had to say, that message he's giving out to people.
Volodymyr Zelensky is addressing the nation every hour this morning, and he said he will continue to do so. And one of the reasons is to make sure that Ukrainians do get all the verified information. He warned the citizens of the country there's going to be too much of fake news, fake information. He urged them rather to check all the official sources, and this is why he said him and the officials, other ministers, they will be addressing the country, they will be reporting very regularly, hourly, about everything that is happening. He also asked people not to panic, although I have to say it is hard now in Ukraine not to. He said, please do not panic, do not go anywhere. There are huge traffic jams on the roads from Kyiv. People are fleeing the capital. They're trying to go to the outskirts. They're trying to go to the countryside. Many of them are trying to go to the west towards Lviv. Of course, that's the city that for a long while been considered now the safest in Ukraine. That's where lots of embassies moved their diplomatic staff. Zelensky said, please do not do that. Do not go. Do not leave where you are. Stay home. Stay put. Stay calm.
We can't hear him. Thank y'all for staying live with me too. I appreciate it.
Für all das gibt es keine Rechtfertigung. Das ist Putins Krieg.
Oh yeah, baby.
Ich habe dem ukrainischen Präsidenten Zelensky heute früh in einem Telefonat gesagt, in diesen schweren Stunden
My sympathies to the Ukrainian President Zelensky
unsere volle Solidarität.
in a telephone call this morning,
Angesichts der
and I have said
habe ich heute Vormittag das
in these severe hours,
damit die Regierung über die Lage
we are on the side of the Ukrainian government and the Ukrainian people.
alle Bundesbürger
I have convened the National Security Council for this
That's the
morning,
German chancellor,
and I
y'all.
ask all citizens
die Präsidentin
to relieve Ukraine immediately for their own security.
des Bundestages einzurufen.
I've asked Madam Speaker of the Bundestag to convene a special session of the Bundestag for Sunday,
Child, they scared of Putin.
where we give a government situation, government statement on the situation. I will, as chairperson of the G7,
of the NWO.
convene a meeting
Nobody
with
wants to smoke
G7
with Cassie.
this afternoon.
Cassie outright disrespect everybody on 106 Park, and nobody said shit. I sat there and watched it with my own
strong
eyes.
common reaction. As European Union,
Boom, ready to push that
we
button.
will
And that
decide
nigga Korea,
this
and that nigga
afternoon
in China.
on severe sanctions against Russia. The aim of these sanctions is that the Russian leadership will pay a bitter price for their aggression. We will show that Putin has committed grave mistakes by this war. Let me address our allies in the Balkans. We understand your sorrows. We will be at your side. Germany will fulfill its requirement as an ally. Together with the French president, I suggest that the heads of government of the NATO countries will meet together in person to consult the situation. This evening I will travel to Brussels to discuss with the European heads of governments and heads of states the situation, which is extremely serious. I ask President Putin to stop his aggression immediately and stop the shedding of blood, and to withdraw his troops from the territory of Ukraine. Thank you very much. That was the German Chancellor there, Olaf Scholz, addressing the nation following Russian President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine.
Our president over here in the middle of a fucking war, because he in the middle of NATO.
As you can see on the right here, we have live pictures of Independence Square in Kyiv after President Vladimir Putin of Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine by land, sea and air this morning. World leaders are now addressing their nations separately and discussing a package of sanctions which will be used to deter Moscow.
Oh, because you wet your feet up and everything?
The Russian leader has warned other countries that any attempt to interfere would lead to consequences that you have never seen.
Didn't I tell y'all?
While leaders of the European Union will be gathering later today in Brussels to discuss further sanctions.
Fuck a sanction gonna do? He over there blowing somebody the fuck up. They scared of him. That's a clear indication they scared. Yeah, nuclear bomb.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of Euronews Now. I'm Tacumbo Salako. We've got continuous coverage of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Several cities, including the capital Kyiv, have reported explosions and thousands of people are now seeking safety and shelter. The European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen promises a swift and severe response.
We will not allow President Putin to replace the rule of law by the rule of force and ruthlessness.
Y'all talking all this shit, but y'all ain't doing nothing.
And they not.
Russian forces have unleashed an attack on Ukraine on the orders of Vladimir Putin, who announced a special military operation on Thursday morning. The Russian president ordered his military forces to protect Russian people in the Donbas region and demanded Ukrainian forces lay down their arms. Explosions have already been heard in major Ukrainian cities, including the capital Kyiv. US President Joe Biden announced there will be consequences, saying the world would hold Russia accountable for its actions. And the prayers of the entire world are with the people of Ukraine as they suffer an unprovoked and unjustified attack by Russian military forces. In a bid to justify the attack, Putin claimed a hostile anti-Russia is being created on historic lands.
let's hear from our correspondent in the Ukrainian capital, Sasha Vakalina. Sasha, tell us, how much of a surprise was this attack in the early hours of this morning?
We heard from Sasha. I've heard that China owns more land over there than the citizens. Right. Y'all. Alright, I'm sorry. Yo, what the fuck would you do if them niggas decide they want to jump out the sky over here? Listen, that shit might not just be in Ukraine. It could be any amount of strange looking people that don't look like me and you that just, this shit just pop off. All I want to say is be aware, be vigilant, whatever. Be ready. I don't know what the fuck is going to go on, but shit about to happen over here. For real, for real. It's about to go down. It's about to go down. And I don't think that we should be like, oh, it's sweet. It's not sweet. It's not time to be walking around trying to pose in your Gucci and all that other stuff. You better tell your son he your son and he need to protect the house. Tell him take your wig off and show him how to shoot a gun. Please. I do not know what can happen, but it is not strange to be like, oh yeah, America got bombed. Pearl Harbor, honey. And who bombed us? Chinese, Japan, Korea, somebody. And Putin is friends with China. China has 1 billion people. America has 325 million people. We are minorities in the world. It ain't that many of us. Biden and them can talk shit, but now that the world got cameras and they done took census, they know it's more of them than it is us. All I gotta say is pray for America. He might not fuck up. He might not put a nuclear bomb in Ukraine, but because they close to him. But he fuck around and do that shit to the next place. So just be careful. That's all I'm saying. I'ma sign out. Thank you for my likes, my 3 likes. Thank you for coming and checking out War Times, because, wow, there's always something going on. That's all I can say. Toodles.